For those of you who would like to know how to work with me, I combine my unique knowledge of marketing and decades of business experience with the ethical use of manipulation and persuasion techniques I learned as a now ex-high ranking cult member. My apologies if there's some noise in the background. Since this is a video about how to work with me, this is going to be a little bit more real and raw. And, if you work with me, there's going to be times when there's a little bit of background noise. So, anyway, having been in a cult leadership position, I understand these methods and techniques and see them used in the most successful marketing and businesses out there. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jason, and I am an ex-high ranking cult leader that now teaches the techniques and methods I learned for ethical persuasion, manipulation, and coercion for business purposes, and how to not be slimy doing it. So I can teach you to use them as well. I help online entrepreneurs to break through the marketing noise with my syncretic edge system, using cult techniques to ethically get more of the right clients and customers without breaking the bank or spending months or years split testing random messaging. Now, I personally believe the traditional funnel is an outdated tool. I won't say it's dead because it's not, but we've all seen hundreds, if not thousands of them by now, and can smell them a mile away. Excuse me. So let's cover a little bit of who I can help, who I work with, and as importantly, who I don't. So I work with course creators, coaches, and consultants in the info and educational space. I've also worked with copywriters and marketing agencies, and actually even some businesses that sell physical products and services. So at the risk of being too broad, if you have something to sell or want to sell something, I can probably help. If you don't have a business or something to sell, or you are not starting a business with the intent to sell something, then this entire program is not really structured for you. I do, because of the depth of the psychology and philosophy that I dive into, I do get the occasional person interested in that side of it rather than the specific marketing, messaging, and positioning aspects of everything. If I get enough requests, I may do a completely separate thing about that, but that's definitely a subject for a different video. So, if you have something to sell and you have a business, how can I help? This is a visual representation of my system. So, as I said, I'm not really into the flywheel thing. And so here around I'm not into funnels. Excuse me. So around here, around the outside of my wheel, I call this the customer journey and client flywheel. There's a couple of layers here. And this is where people come into your world, where you would come into my world. And then see over here, in this corner, you could have YouTube. Over here in this corner, we've got Facebook. Maybe over here, we've got Instagram, email list, all this good stuff, and the usual acquisition channels. And then as you come in and you come into this world, I have these various spokes in which, as this wheel turns and rotates, you can come into my world from any of these different directions. And generally speaking, along these lines, then technically you have, this is the aspect of a funnel to come into the center of what I do right down here in the syncretic edge. So I made myself some notes so I don't forget anything. As you can see here, there are some question marks along these spokes over here on this side. So these are the 6 that I tend to talk about publicly. And then within my programs, I have another 6 layers that are interspersed in here that all work together with this entire thing. Now, I call this the manipulation matrix method. So these are techniques and tactics that are used in combination with these frameworks to create messaging and positioning that is incredibly powerful. So I am actually just going to grab my quick notebook right here. I have, old-fashioned notebook, and I'm going to go through real quick here what some of these things are so you have an idea of the type of thing that I'm talking about. So there's a layer of where we actually talk about the techniques of narcissism and how to ethically use narcissism. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers to narcissistic behavior, such as, love bombing, gaslighting, and projection, to name a few, that can be combined with these other aspects to create a positioning system. Most of us have heard of neuro-linguistic programming. I can sprinkle a little bit of that in there. There is storytelling aspects. There is I have another 6 pillars of your positioning and portrayal of your persona, including your dogmas, your credibility, personality, etc., etc. I'm giving away actually a little bit of the secret sauce here. And then there are within these spokes aspects of, and now I'm just going to read a few of these off of the things that, I cover within my program that is in development, but ready to offer to you guys. So the using of context, how to use context to plant ideas, false consensus statements, epistemic manipulation techniques, something that's called burden shifting, assertion staking, asymmetrical skepticism, etc., etc. So as I dive down in here, that's a quick overview to just give you a sneak peek of the manipulation matrix method that lives here within the syncretic edge. Actually, I'm going to pop back up here real quick. So the word syncretic means the blending of different and oftentimes opposing beliefs and practices into a unified system. And that is what I have done. I just named quite a few aspects, including I am talking about techniques of narcissism, neurolinguistic programming, cult techniques, brainwashing techniques, dating and pickup artist techniques, and quite a bit more. I am also in the process. I have a book available. You just have to look around on whatever channel you're watching this video on. Check for links. It's probably around there somewhere. And I have attempted to put all of this together so that there is something for everyone, no matter where you are at in the process and no matter what your budget is. So there's 4 ways to work with me directly. The first one is the Syncretic Edge Systems School community. So this is for those who are interested in learning about this skill and my basic methodologies and techniques for taking their messaging and positioning to the next level. Actionable info for those not in a financial position to access speed and proximity. So this is lifetime access. It's completely free. I do a 2-hour live call where I do teaching and ask me anything, Q&As, hot seat, just about anything and everything. And those get recorded and then uploaded into the app so you can always get the replay. Like I said, this is free. And so what I'm showing you right here is a Google Doc link in the description of this video. So the link will be right here, the school access is number one. Number two, remember to access this, you have to jump down there. Number two is the Syncretic Edge Systems seminar. I call it a seminar. It's, it's going live on Zoom, workshop, whatever sounds right. But this is a live 3-hour Zoom call where I go through the Syncretic Edge system, how it works. This is the important part, and how to customize it and install it into your business and marketing. So now I'll just jump back here real quick, right? So we're going to go back to this wheel. So you can learn about this, you can learn about this and this and this and this. And then these other aspects that I've been talking about that are inside of these spokes. So the part that I teach in the seminar particularly is not only do I go through all of that, but then there are certain clients, certain businesses, certain niches where some of those techniques are more appropriate than other techniques. And then there's also an aspect of where these techniques need to be layered on top of each other, or the order in which those spokes are put into the wheel make a difference in how people filter their way through and find their way to whatever it is that you're wanting them to do. This is a really complicated way of saying there is no real one size fits all. And part of what I do is take all of these techniques and not only teach you the techniques, but teach how to know which techniques are the ones that you should be using and how to customize the techniques to your specific situation. Whew. Mouthful. All right, continuing on. So in the seminar, I go live for 3 hours. This is a standalone event, nothing held back. I hit everything that I can within 3 hours, right? So it's a crash course designed for those of you on a smaller budget. I do not have an upsell into a higher tier program. Let me say, I do have higher cost stuff, but I'm going to show you all that here. So there's no surprises. This is not a selling webinar disguised to give you barely enough information so that you have to actually buy the next thing to get results. I don't do that. This is a standalone, completely actionable deal. So, yep, like I said, I do Q&A. If you can't make it, you will get a replay link. I usually send that in a Google Doc so you can actually download it and keep it. The events are listed in red. Again, you're going to have to click into the Google Doc that's in the description of this video to see when the next event is. I don't really have a month or anything like this right here because it will vary. I don't know when they are. And the same thing is here for the price and the amount of seats available. So the pricing, the seating, and the date and times are all going to vary, but it will be current in the doc in the link in the description. Now, here it says if the link doesn't work, we are sold out, which means this seating arrangement right here, however many seats are available for this particular event, I set my link up in Stripe to allow only a certain amount of payments, right? This is not a joke. There are only a certain amount of seats. So if you click on this link and it goes to the checkout page, which is just a Stripe checkout page, then there's still a seat available. If the link does not work, we are sold out. I will come back, and about an hour before this event starts, I will plug in the information for whenever the next event will be and reset the purchase link. So if you get in here and the link doesn't work, notice what day and time this is, and you can pop back in here and probably catch a seat the day of or the day right after the event, or better yet, jump back up here and join the free school community, because I will be giving earlier access 2 seats to the events in the school community before I pop it into this public doc on YouTube. The third way to work with me is the Syncretic Edge Systems Elite. So this is, you will get, so join me twice a week in a small group format. This is a deep dive done with you. It includes all of the information. So basically you get everything in the workshop that I just, or seminar that I just got done telling you about, with a very intent focus on action. You get a 45-minute private welcome call. I do a 90-minute teaching call, which is, let me just bump back up here. So the 90-minute syncretic call actually focuses on this flywheel. Each call will focus on one of these 12 spokes of this wheel. Okay, so I recommend when you join up here, let me get back down here real quick. So this is priced weekly. Okay, you can go through all of this in 12 weeks. So I recommend joining with the intent to stay for 12 weeks. That will enable you to hit every single spoke of that wheel. And so as we have the circle of the wheel here, the way that this works is it doesn't matter because it all works together. It doesn't matter at what point I am. So I rotate through all of those 12 subjects, one subject per week for 12 weeks. You can jump in this wheel at any time. And then as long as you stay for 12 weeks, it will make one complete revolution and you will actually get all of the content. However, I get it. Things happen. You can definitely cancel anytime. And of course, same as the seminar, the seating is limited. The link works exactly the same way. And I did not go over however long you are in, you will get the downloadable full recordings. I have a WhatsApp group chat where you can actually chat back and forth with me and the group during the week, non-call days. And also you'll have the ability to direct message me, and if needed, I will actually, throw in one-on-one calls. My goal, I don't have you get X amount of calls per week for X amount of time for this and that. My goal is to get you the result, right? Some of you don't need me to spend quite as much time with you, and we can get you your results faster. Some of you may need a little bit more time, but the goal is to get you from point A, which is you want to learn about this system and how to implement it into your business, to point B, which is a thorough understanding of what you're doing, how this works, how to put it in to your business so that you can accelerate the results that you're after. So again, you'll have to go in, check the link. It goes to a Stripe checkout page. Join the school to get notified. And the fourth way to work with me is I do take on a limited number of clients for custom done for you services. So this is basically, I can jump in and do it. I've had people, give me their email campaigns, landing pages, funnels, and rewriting, copywriting. If you would rather just learn all of this in a completely private setting. So there's a lot of customization here. This is all custom in here. So I would jump on a call with you. I think I have them listed as 20-minute calls. They're free. I do a very limited number of my free consultation calls because they are actually, in fact, a consultation call. not a sales call, because on the call I, figure out what it is that you want and exactly how I can best serve you. And then I'll put together a custom quote, depending on your needs, email that to you. If you decide to move ahead with it, you can. If not, then that's fine too. And just to kind of filter out a little bit here, if you book a call and you want to do some custom work, it will probably be about a minimum of 2 grand, and go up from there. If you have any other questions, definitely email me at highsagesolutions@gmail.com. The doc down in the description also has my terms and policies, and I'm not going to read all these. You can bump down in there and check those FAQs out if you would like. So, if this sounds good, check out the doc and Google Doc in the description below. And if you think we're a fit, then maybe I'll see you on the inside.